Hi everyone, I'm Marihan Momberg. I'm an Associate Financial Planner at the Cape Town office. When it comes to saving, there's one important phrase you need to remember, and that is pay yourself first. I'm sure you've heard about the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, which means you spend 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% you save. Pay yourself first is developing the habit of automatically setting aside money before your expenses. So it's almost like reverse budgeting. You save 20% first and then you spend the rest. Saving not only includes for retirement, it's also for your long-term goals like buying a house or going on a holiday. Examples of paying yourself first would include making sure you're contributing to a retirement fund, so a company retirement fund or a retirement annuity, investing in discretionary investments, so maybe setting up a debit order to a unit trust or tax-free savings investment, allocating towards your emergency fund or allocating towards your cash savings account. Of course, it could be difficult to save the full 20%, and there's always that temptation to spend. But in the long term, it's about consistently and automatically setting aside money before your expenses. It's easy to forget about your long-term goals when you live your day-to-day life, but your future self would be extremely happy that you paid yourself first.
Hi everyone, my name is Violet Martineza, and today I'll be talking about money saving tips. Tip number 1 is create a budget. This will help you see where your money is going, how to plan ahead, and limit overspending. Make sure that you stick to your budget. 2, include savings in your budget. Now, you might be wondering, how am I supposed to save when everything has gone up and I can barely make it through the month? Remember, you can start small. You don't have to save a lot of money. You can save from as little as 500 a month or more, depending on your budget. This will help you get into the habit of saving. 3, set achievable goals for yourself. If, for example, you are planning on buying a new laptop or a new smartphone, start putting money away every month so that when it's time for you to buy that smartphone or that laptop, you are able to achieve that goal. If it happens that you can't save as much as you would like to save, don't be hard on yourself. Any progress towards a saving goal is good progress. 4, when you are shopping, make sure you stick to your budget. If you are planning to buy groceries for 1,000 Rand, make sure that you stick to that. You buy groceries for 1,000 Rand. Make sure you compare prices. Take advantage of discounts and specials by using reward cards or smart shoppers. That extra 100 Rand or 200 discount you got will make a difference. 5, when you get extra income from your bonus or your side hustle, put that money into good use. Don't just spend it. If you have debt, pay off your debt. Lastly, understanding the importance of saving money will help and inspire you to find more ways to save and achieve your goals. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Candace and I'm an Associate Financial Planner in the Johannesburg office. Today I would like to give you 4 of my personal savings tips that I've used to help me get my finances organized and stay consistent with my savings. So, tip number 1, make your savings an expense in your budget, like rent, electricity, or insurance, although we don't have much electricity these days. What this has done is it's helped me make my savings a non-negotiable in my monthly spending, and it is a necessity. What you can also do is set yourself a goal on how much you would like to save as a percentage of your earnings and stick to it. You need to have discipline when it comes to saving, and I find it helpful to have a goal based on my earnings. So even if your earnings fluctuate, you can still keep the same level of savings in percentage terms. The next one I like to call set and forget. Debit orders are your best friend because you can set them up and forget them. They will continue to run, and before you know it, you'll have a nice little nest egg built up. Remember though, you just have to start. Tip number 3 is always try save something. You don't have to save thousands of rands every single month, but as long as you're saving something, it doesn't matter, even if it's only a couple $100 in those really tough months. My last tip number 4, is the bucket approach. So it's a bit of an old school approach, but it helped me in my personal finances. So you have little buckets of savings or investments that you have allocated for a specific purpose or goal. It doesn't need to be anything serious. It can be something as simple as saving for a nice holiday at the end of the year or something like that. What this will do is it will help you build up the habits of saving. It will organize your thoughts on what your goals actually are, and it will also help you build a timeline of what your short, medium, and long-term financial objectives are. Obviously, though, it is very important to save for those long-term goals and retirement, but you can start off small. What these tips did for me is they helped me build up the habits of saving and to be consistent about it. Now, I know it's not always easy to save. I mean, life does happen. We've all had those times when it's just not possible to save as much as we would like. During these times, you'll have to adjust and rejig your budget. But when you're using these tips, savings will be a line item and you'll be in the habit of saving, so you won't forget about it and you'll be less likely to completely scrap them from your budget. The main point that I want to leave you with is the age-old saying of consistency is key. Build up that habit of saving now so that when times are tough, you're already one step ahead.
Good morning. My name is Claire Steyn, and I'm part of the BDO Wealth Advisors team. And today I'm going to be talking to you about emergency funds. So what is an emergency fund? It's your safety net between you and life. It's also your safety net between financial failure and financial success. So if you're not sure how to save an emergency fund, don't worry, I've got you covered. Here are some tips. Start small. It takes a long time to build savings, so it's important to start out small and build from there. Some people set a large goal for their emergency fund right off the bat, only to discover down the road that it's going to take a much longer time than anticipated. Along the way, they'll start to get discouraged and eventually give up altogether. What's important is that you take action and start saving, no matter how small, and remain consistent. Rome wasn't built in a day, and the same goes for an emergency fund. There are also some very useful tools on banking apps to assist with this. Once you have a savings goal in mind, the next step is to open a savings account, which should be kept separate from your daily spending account. Having a separate account builds a psychological wall between the money you can touch and the money you shouldn't touch, and helps with the temptation to use the money for spoils instead of emergencies. Build it up. Now that you have an account designated specifically for emergencies, the next step is to automate deposits so that they go directly into your savings account. You can do this yourself through online banking. After getting into a good routine of saving more and spending less, try challenging yourself to build up your savings. Sell items you don't need. Save your tax refund instead of spending it. Pack your own lunch. Be realistic. You have to realistically decide what you can afford to put away and not touch. Use the funds only in an emergency. It's called an emergency fund for a reason, so don't touch the money unless you have a true emergency. If you withdraw from the account every now and then, rationalizing that you'll make it up next payday, you may be setting in motion a new habit that could take you backwards. Review your budget regularly. Having a budget is essential to any financial plan. And just as important is to review your budget on a regular basis to ensure your savings and spending needs are still in line with your current financial situation. Lastly, I'd like to end off today by saying building an emergency fund takes discipline, time, and some sacrifices, but it can be done. So take control of your financial future.